At the turn of the century, the Dulles family, cousins of the Rockefellers, coming from a southern slave-holding background and powerful international connections, was well connected with international banking and German interests. And when they noticed them at all, supporters of eugenics programs, i.e. selective breeding and extermination for the lower classes. A personal philosophical statement of Allen's brother, John Foster Dulles, in 1911 illuminates the mindset and accidentally underlines a major theme of, or justification for, Alternative 3. Quote, under natural conditions, all species tend to increase with great rapidity. After a few generations, the world would be literally crowded with life. There is a check, however, the limited capacity of the world to sustain life. As the numbers of a species increase, it becomes more and more difficult for each individual to find means of sustenance. Some must perish, and what is known as the law of natural selection says that the ones who will perish will be the weakest. The strongest will survive. That's from Jim Keith's really great book, Casebook on Alternative 3 of UFOs, Secret Societies, and World Control. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I wanted to take the opportunity to talk today, even though the day is not over. It is 10:13. It has been predicted by some that we are going to have some form of alien disclosure, aliens landing en masse, perhaps even a false flag operation like Project Bluebeam. I don't think it's going to happen, but hey, there's still a couple hours till midnight, so I might be wrong, but there you have it. I wanted to discuss the UFO idea in general, the alien hypothesis, and how it connects with the occult aspects of the conspiracy. Realize that the people that control the world behind the scenes are deeply embedded in occult ideology, theology, magic, and ritual. And part of what they do is embedded in this idea of alien life, and what form it takes, and even its reality or validity are questions that are open to debate. I'm firmly convinced that the real powers that be, the ones behind the scenes that we never get a chance to see and don't really know who they are the ones who have direct contact and connection with this occultic aspect. And the UFO idea, the alien agenda, I think springs out of this occultic idea because, in my belief, the only aliens, the only type of alien life that could possibly be in contact with humans on some level is not physical alien beings living on a planet, riding around in spaceships made out of solid material. Instead, what we're dealing with is what would be classified as entities that would fall under the rubric of occultism. And because we have this idea that there are two different schools of thought, well, there are many, but you can boil it down to two, that there are real actual aliens, and they've been coming here doing things for whatever purpose, abducting people, you know, skinning cattle, cattle mutilations. And then you have another school of thought that puts the entire idea of aliens out of the question altogether. I don't rule out life anywhere, even intelligent life capable of interstellar travel. What seems rather ludicrous to me is the idea that aliens from anywhere in the world would give a damn what we're doing here on this one planet, you know, in the far corners of one galaxy in a vast universe. So the entities that we're talking about with any kind of disclosure, if it was real, you understand, would be occultic in nature. And my own personal view on this is that if there is any power to be gained by interacting with these entities, it is only for their own purposes. This is something that needs to be made clear to people who think that they want to dabble in this sort of thing. I don't recommend it, because contact with these forces and with the energies behind them is almost universally detrimental in the long run, because these people work to these things, whatever they are, they work to their own agenda, which is not something that is easily comprehensible to our minds. The best thing I think we could hope for is that they're mainly indifferent to us and might be amused to interact for their own purposes. Because I do believe that on some level they're superior to us, at least to the extent that they're able to breach the dimensional barriers in order to make contact here. So yes, I do believe personally that there is something to that. Now, today we're supposed to have a disclosure, we're supposed to have this mass landing or whatever. Anything that you see that happens with aliens, that has anything to do with aliens, UFOs, anything of that sort, I'm going to tell you right now. Take this to the bank, okay? Quote me. If I'm wrong, bring it up. Anything that gets into the fucking media, that gets into the fucking news, that is a fucking news story that talks about aliens coming to this God-forsaken fucking planet from anywhere, I'll guarantee you a couple fucking things right now. They are not fucking aliens from another fucking planet. And they're not riding in super UFO spacecraft built by fucking aliens on another fucking planet. If anything is landing out of the fucking sky, it is shit that we have built. Secret technology that we never see. Remember that the fucking military is decades ahead of what is in the civilian fucking sector. So if you see gigantic fucking motherships, do not be surprised. And remember, this is not alien shit. This is our own stuff that we're not even allowed to fucking know about. And if you see a fucking gray alien, you can guarantee that fucking gray alien is not a physical fucking alien from another fucking planet. It's some kind of mock-up. Simple. Any kind of landing or invasion is going to be contrived. Now, if there is some form of, let's say, for lack of a better term, a spiritual assault on humanity from extra-dimensional entities, that's another matter. Because dimensions exist everywhere. And it seems to me that a technology that could breach those barriers would be something that would be incredibly dangerous to deal with. Now, considering the level of technology that would be required to travel interstellar distances, I wouldn't even discount the possibility that you could have physical craft that are able to go faster than the speed of light by doing whatever, go through wormholes or anything else. So, you know, even granting the idea that technology could go to the point where aliens could get here physically, in physical ships, it still begs the question of why would they fucking come here? Why? There is nothing special about this place. Especially if there are intelligent life forms throughout the fucking galaxy who are flying around in ships and who have access to high energy weapons like nuclear weapons and particle beams and all the other shit that we have that we don't even fucking know about. So, mark my words and hold me to it. Anything you see related to aliens is pure hokum. And if something hits us in such a way that we don't see or hear, it's coming invisibly, that's more in a dimensional perspective. And that's something that may be real. May be real. And that's probably the darkest thing to consider. And what potential there is there. But you know I'm not a fearmonger, so I don't tell you things to frighten you. I tell you things to hopefully empower you. I hate to use that word, but hey, it is what it is. So to give you ideas about what you can do. And part of what you can do is to understand what you face by looking at these people, studying the secret societies, looking into the occult aspect of this, and looking into the occult connection to UFOs and aliens, and realize that there is a very strong connection between the two. And you really can't divide the two issues. So, that's basically my message for you. Any alien shit you see, staged. Anything that happens on a covert level, possibly real, but it can still be combated. And the best way to do that is know your enemy and understand what you're dealing with. Thank you. Good night.